Now let's switch gears for a minute and move over to a viewer story that was sent in to me by Bert. Bert owns a condo in Broward County, Florida, and he wanted to tell me about this unusual situation that he's facing over there. And I wanted to cover this to give people an idea of what can be done if you face a similar situation. Bert owns a condo there, and his condo board hired an internet provider to provide internet for the whole building. Bluestream is the name of the company. And he says the board there operates without transparency or accountability, and they won't let anybody contact them, which is a violation of Florida law, by the way, which we'll get to in a little bit. But he says this leaves residents with no effective way of raising or resolving issues or contacting the board in a meaningful way. And what happened is, ever since the condo board decided to go with Bluestream, the internet service has been horrible, and there's been major speed drops and connectivity issues. And even though it's supposed to be 1 gigabit speeds, the speeds are very inconsistent and often well below what's promised, which ends up disrupting his remote work and Zoom calls from home. And because of this situation, Bert feels trapped because he can't withhold his HOA dues, because then the HOA can put a lien on your property if you do that. And also, because the contract with Bluestream is with the board, he's not recognized as an individual customer with the Bluestream internet company, and basically is getting ghosted by the company because they're not helping to resolve any of the issues he's having with his internet. And the thing is, situations like this crop up all the time when you're dealing with condo boards or HOAs. So what can be done about this? Well, the first thing is, according to Florida condo law, the behavior that his board is exhibiting is against the law. Okay, it's violating Florida Statute 718, where the board must post notice of meetings, and owners have the right to review all contracts, including the Bluestream internet agreement. And owners must be able to contact the association or property manager, another thing that they're failing to do. And as far as the internet agreement goes, even though Bert is not the named customer, the condo board is, Florida law still has some protections for him. If Bluestream is not delivering the promised speeds, especially since Bert pays extra for the gigabit service, this becomes a breach of performance, and the recourse is as follows. First, you need to demand that the board produce the contract, which is also a requirement by law, to confirm the speed guarantees, the service level agreement, the termination clauses, and how to file a complaint. And also, if there's interference with Bert's ability to work, that equals financial harm to him. And if the board continues to refuse to address this critical service, then they can be accused of failing to maintain common services, which could ultimately open up the condo board to a lawsuit from Bert. So what Bert needs to do is, first he needs to send a certified letter to the board of directors of his condo requesting all the records for this internet contract according to Florida Statute 718. Then Bert should be documenting all the trouble he's having with the speed and dropouts of his internet, and then talk to other residents and see if they're having the same issues. And if you are, organize together and petition for a meeting. And then to take things a step further, file a complaint with the DBPR in Florida, as well as the FCC and even the Florida Attorney General. But the reason I wanted to bring this up is because people have issues like this all the time with their condos, with certain things not being enforced and promises not being met. And if the board is failing to respond to your request, they are violating the law, especially if the condo is located in Florida, but I'm assuming other states have similar protections. But the good news is here that Bert is not powerless and does actually have recourse for this. It is going to be work. It is going to be a hassle to go through the steps that I outlined. But the point is that something can be done. And I wanted to address this here because other people might be going through similar issues, maybe not related to internet, but other building services that they're not receiving, and can follow the same steps that I outlined here in order to actually change things and finally see a result. But you know, everything I talked about today, besides Bert's condo story, to me is good news when you're talking about the housing market, because this shows you that things are really turning around in a meaningful way right now, where it just seemed like it never was going to at the height of the market. So many people bought into the FOMO mentality. If I don't buy a house now, never going to be able to afford one. And so many people are regretting that decision and losing a lot of money because of it. But if you've been buying gold and silver, for example, over the past few years, like I've been telling people to, you've been preserving a massive amount of wealth that can go towards a home purchase if you would like it to. And you're going to see that big discount in home prices like we've been talking about. Or even if you've just been steadily investing in the stock market, the gains in the stock market have been far outpacing what we've been seeing in real estate and can still be more than enough to make up for purchasing homes today at a discounted price. And this goes to show you that people who have been patient really are going to be rewarded right now over the next few years as home prices continue to decline and sellers become more desperate to sell, as there's just fewer and fewer buyers out there to buy the homes that are listed. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you don't want to wait for my next video to come out, check out this one on the screen right over here, and I'll see you in the next one.